To climate. It's 30 degrees here at the moment outside.
Wow.
Basically 93.5 degrees Fahrenheit inside this office. It's damn hot, I got to be honest with you. It's very sweltery right now. Barbara won earlier on this morning, but we didn't expect it to get up over 30 degrees.
No.
That's fantastic, it really is. Tuesday, April the 6th, you're right here at Galaxy, and first of all, let me do this.
Galaxy 107fm.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and well, today, and believe me, I have been waiting so long for this one. I really am elated, I am. But first of all, for everybody that's joining us this morning on Facebook Live, thank you for doing that. And thank you for enduring the mail openings this morning. 3 parcels, absolutely blinder. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Terry Van Cannon, thank you very much for your parcel. It really is very special, it really is. Now, we're joined today, believe me folks, by Matt Walsh, and I've been so waiting to do this interview. I have. For those of you that are going to be watching it a little later on, you know what to do, right? You do, yeah. Sub, thumb, bell. Bingo. Yeah, bell notifications later on, right? Yeah, you got it. But right now, let's start with Matt Walsh, and come here, no more, right here at Galaxy. So how you feeling, my friend? You okay?
Feeling great, man. Feeling great. It's
Nice.
fun to actually be on the other side of this thing. Every once in a while, I've gotten to do it lately.
Well, you know, I hate being on the other side because then I tend to take over anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, either way it works for me as long as I'm on camera, I guess.
Well, I did a thing with a guy coming out of Germany. He has a thing called Jorg's World. And,
I think I talked to him sometime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great guy, absolutely fantastic guy. First
Yeah.
he says, I've got to interview you. Well, it ended up Grant's Jorg's World in the end.
Yeah.
So he actually invited us back for a second
He
shot
did.
last
fun.
week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Far out.
Brilliant show. In fact, we spoke to a guy called Steve Lynch, who was the former lead guitarist of Autograph.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a good friend of ours. He really is.
What a trip.
Yeah, I'll have to introduce you. You'll love him. He's
Yeah.
a great guy.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah.
He's actually coming out with a new band called Neptune Blue.
Yeah, you
Blue
never know.
Neptune,
He's
something
trying
like
to
that,
put
yeah.
one together.
Yeah, he is.
Hi,
But he's
Chris.
currently writing a book
Oh.
at the same time. So we had to have a chat about that. He's named it Confessions of a Rock Guitarist. And I'm going, you know, come on, Steve. You know what?
How many of the confessions are left?
Yeah, well, believe me, he's got a big book. Apparently, he's had a pretty full life. You know.
He's got a lot of them. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
he
Fair
says, ask me no questions about it. You'll have to read the book.
enough. Right.
So, yeah. And believe me, I'm good at reading books from cover to cover.
So what's the weather like there?
It's a little gloomy, fining up. Believe me, we're supposed to be coming into winter.
Hi,
We've only
Randy.
just turned our clocks back.
I'd like to talk to
and
you
believe
guys.
me, because you guys are coming into spring, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. We are.
We're
We're there.
We're heading towards winter right now, but it's 30 degrees Celsius. In here, my friend, is 93.5 F.
Wow.
It's hot.
Whoa, it's
Yeah.
nice.
Chris, nice to have you on board, my friend. Matt's very talented. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Cheryl Arnold, nice to have you on board. Randy Rand. Randy Rand is the lead singer of the band Autograph. we
Far
were
out, yeah.
just talking about you guys.
His ears must be buzzing.
Must be.
Yeah, we need to
somebody
catch
says,
up.
oh, hey, we're talking about
We need to
Autograph.
catch up, Randy.
Now, what was it? How many? 76
114.
and 114. Wow. Wow. Okay. 76 countries and 114 cities around the world are joining us this morning.
Wow. That is amazing, man.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
That's not bad.
I'll give you the full score when we finish this so that, you know, no use giving it to you now because it climbs. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's have some fun, Matt. It is going to be a pleasure to have you on board. That's right, you're right. Here at Galaxy 107 FM, it is 11 after 11 o'clock, 28 degrees. Unseasonably hot for this time of the year, I gotta be honest with you. Barbara is perspiring, which is, well, not a pretty sight in its own right. It's Tuesday, April the 6th. You're right, here at Galaxy 107 FM. And today, going over to North Carolina, and believe me, been over there a number of times just recently. We really, really have. And in fact, we've spoken to somebody else that this artist has actually played with, connected to, of course, Muddy Waters. We're talking about Bob Margolin. And, well, today we're joined by Matt Walsh. Matt, it is an absolute pleasure to have you with us. Welcome to Galaxy.
Hey, man. I'm glad to be on. Thanks for having me.
You know, you couldn't have got it better. I see you're on the set there of Friday Night Gamble.
Yeah, and the roadies over here are going nuts, man. They found out that I don't know if you can see them, but they found out that they're going to be, you know, on New Zealand radio, so they're freaking out. So I apologize for the stuff in the background here.
That's the guy that drinks, isn't it?
Yeah, he drinks a lot. He and all his friends, there's a whole pack of them that live up here on the set of the Friday Night Gamble where I am right now. And then we've got an overflow in the garage area. So
well,
I've got 7. For the folks that don't know, I employ werewolves for my roadies. So I have these roadie werewolves. You know, you get a lot of problems with them, but they're entertaining.
Fair enough too. And if you ever get sick of one or two, just pop it on a plane, send it over here. I'd be more than happy to adopt a couple for you. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I have when the live shows, you know, they've started back up. But the great thing the advantage I had over everyone when I did live shows, is I was the only guy that had a werewolf petting zoo that folks could go to during the break. They just go out to my van and pay a small fee, and you get to pet one of these things.
Yeah, my wife just said to me she has something like that at home as well. You know, just reach in through the car window and touch me every now and again. You'll be fine. You might get away with your wallet. You'll be all right. Matt Walsh, believe me, I have absolutely loved not only the Friday Night Gambles that was introduced to me, but your music as well. Now, I've got to give a shout out to Terry Van Carnen, because he was the guy that first introduced me to your music. And tell me a little bit about how you know Terry Van Carnen.
Man, you know, back about I guess 2006, I was living in Wichita, Kansas. I moved out there from North Carolina for about 5 or 6 years, and don't ask me why. It's basically, I don't know if you can curse on here or not, but can you?
Well, you go right ahead, but I'll get my hand slapped.
Okay, well, it's the asshole of America, basically.
Okay.
So I went to the asshole of America for about five years, and the last part of it, about 2006, I started recording my first album called Hard Luck, and I was coming back to North Carolina, doing a lot of touring, kind of using North Carolina as a southeastern kind of hub to tour around Florida and Tennessee, South Carolina, and whatnot. And so through a couple of guitar buddies of mine, had an open jam down at a seafood restaurant on Sunday nights. It was a seafood buffet. Seafood buffets, guitars. Hey, what could go wrong, right?
All you need is alcohol.
They had that too, amongst other things. But anyway, TV ended up, Terry Von Cannon, we call him TV, He was there and in the house band at that open jam. So just through coming to town, and just on those Sundays, just hanging out there at that seafood place was the earliest time I can remember meeting Terry. And then just when I moved back here in 2007. I just seeing him through the musical community when I would play in Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and whatnot. So, but he was on the Friday Night Gamble last summer. So when he started putting his singles out.
And he survived too, by the looks of it. Now, having said that, my friend, and believe me, I want to talk to you about the Friday Night Gamble, but we opened the show here with "Come Here, No More." Tell me a little bit about that. Tell me about the lyrics.
Well, I think the song is just, from my point of view, is just about someone that's kind of putting a bummer on someone else, and they're just they've gotten kind of sick of it, they've gotten sick of the things they say and that they hear over and over again, maybe, or the things they do over and over again, but it's just it's not like really pointed towards a certain person or anything, but it's I think it's good for we all meet those people from time to time, or those people come in our life from time to time that get on our nerves. So maybe that's what it's about. It's about hey, it's like hit the road, Jack. Don't come back no more.
Yeah.
I guess it's that for 2021.
Yeah, Matt, in my headphones I'm hearing the story of my life. So, okay, she can relate to
hey, maybe, I might have been right from my own experience too.
Well, you never know. Now, I do have a fan question for you, Matt. How do we get hold of you as a fan? Are you on Facebook? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Instagram? But more importantly, Matt, do you respond?
Yes, I do. I'm not one of those guys that, I don't really get out a lot, and after the COVID thing, it gave me an excuse that I kind of, I could roll with that. Nobody looked at me like I was weird. But no, I'm very, I like to talk back to fans and interact with fans and all that good stuff. So I'm very reachable. I'm that closed off silent artist.
Really, Matt, you shouldn't have said that. You're going to get another 5,000 Facebook fans in no time. And believe me, I know what it's like not getting out that much. They don't look me up. Well, prior to the COVID virus, I was lucky to get out. These days, they just, white jacket stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I'm always here giving werewolves baths and flea treatments. And,
exactly,
I got lots of things to maintain here.
Yeah.
Guitars I have to clean and maintenance.
keep their fangs sharp. I get it, I do. I understand. Now, having said that, my friend, I want to talk to you about my next move, which I think is a good move.
Well, thank you, man. I hope that song can eventually be used in like a detective show or something, or like a whodunit, No, I mean, that song really, especially when I was, when we were, mixing it and stuff, it just felt like it was, it needed to be on like the intro of like a detective show, or like it needed to be the theme song for one, I guess. And I'll tell you a funny story about the song. It was really missing something. The song is a real, like a lot of the other songs on the album. It was intentionally recorded with sparse sparse instrumentation, and we just basically, it was me and the drummer Chuck Cotton, and I played bass on it, but it felt like it needed some kind of little hook or something. So just on the spot, I thought, well, maybe I started hearing this harmonica kind of lick in my head, and so I just went out and found a cheap D harmonica. It was like $10, but it was the only thing that was accessible at the time for time's sake and everything. And it was so funny because I played that song with a brand new D harmonica that had like 3 broken reeds in it. So I don't know if you've ever played a harmonica with broken reeds, but it's really hard and damn near impossible to get what we got. So it was it's funny, man. You know, sometimes you think things are recorded on great instruments or whatever, and then you find stuff. To me, that's always fun to find that kind of stuff out. You know, it's just some piece of junk.
I love it. You're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, joined live coming out of North Carolina, Matt Walsh. Matt, I had a band that I interviewed a wee while ago by the name of High South, and they sent me.
Oh, far out. They sent you a harmonica.
Yeah, absolutely. One of these days I'm going to get brave enough to actually blow the bloody thing. It's honestly, it's like singing. I don't sing, bro. Well, actually, I do sing. I sing tenor.
Yeah.
Well, maybe 12 miles away from anybody. Hey, Barbara.
Yeah, he's such a jokester, isn't he?
Oh, he's such a jokester. He really is.
He's such a...
Gosh, yeah, I'll let you in on the secret. I'm watching you, watching me, watching you.
And it just goes on and on and on.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
it's
look,
one of those infinity things.
Yeah, right.
So, oh, Terry Van Cannon's joined us.
Yeah,
Hello,
it's been here
Terry.
for a while.
You know, hold on.
Okay, we're doing something here.
Matt, earlier on this morning I opened up a package.
Always got, oh, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm loving them. I really am. I got a few.
Far out. Who is that guy now? Who is the dude there? Who's the guy on the t-shirt?
I think that's Terry Van
It
Cannon.
is, that's his company.
Is that Terry?
Yeah.
Lap steel.
Well, yeah. Maybe it is Terry. Lap steel.
Oh,
The
you mean-
moose.
You mean the bobblehead?
Well, have you seen his bobblehead?
I think I did see that. Yes, I did see the bobblehead.
Yeah.
I want one.
Yeah, it looks like it could be.
I really did.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was
I reckon
fun
that's
as
a bit of
well.
me. It's a bit of bobblehead. I really do. Damn, it's hot in here.
Chop, chop.
And we have employed the Kiwi air conditioning too, haven't we? Yeah, open the damn window. Yeah,
It's
okay.
open.
It's open. Oh, we spared no money at all for air conditioning. Let's put it that way.
We're tough
Kind of
Kiwis.
hot up here
We're
tonight,
tough
you know,
Kiwis.
it's with all these lights on the set, you know.
Right.
I'm usually not sitting here. I guess the guest. This is like the guest seat where we put the guest. So I guess I didn't know it, but we're frying the guest every Friday night. Intense heat.
Well, as long as the host is comfortable, you're right.
Exactly right. That's what I always say. You know, I've got to be comfortable, guys. You know.
Exactly. That guy that you have on there from time to time, God, he can drink, can't he?
Well, I like to think we all can. I like to think all of us are pretty good at that here on the show. But no, he can drink. He can drink.
What proof is it?
Yeah, but what proof was that?
Well, you know, the Butch Lights that we drink are 22% alcohol.
Nice.
Yeah. The
Very-
Dandelion Clover Melatonin IPAs.
22%.
Very, very cool.
I know that is a mouthful.
Yeah, it is. I'm glad you said it because no. I'm gonna
Don't
leave
try to say it after you drink too well.
God, you
Yeah, well-
only need one drink. or two.
Believe me, Matt, I don't actually
22%.
drink. I have had a dabble every now and again. It sort of got me pretty ripped up. In fact, a young lady that's won 10 Josie Awards, she sent me some moonshine.
Oh, wow.
That blew my socks off.
Yeah, that's great stuff.
Great.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, 25 after 11 o'clock. It is 33 degrees. That's just ridiculously hot. It really, really is. And, well, you know, I'm really, really happy to be going all the way over to North Carolina, catching up with Matt Walsh. And, Matt, believe me, it is an absolute pleasure to catch up with you, sir. It really, really is. And I want to talk to you about your record label, Full Bloom Records. Tell me a little bit about this.
Well, you know, when I put out my album, Life After Rock and Roll, in 2017, you know, the way that records are put out now is so, you know, and I mean, it doesn't take a fool to know that it's a different time than it used to be as far as how the music business works. So rather than, you know, try to fish for a music label or scout one out, I kind of felt comfortable enough with you know, having a pretty strong decade of having my name out there and a lot of high profile ways that, you know, that I could take a leap and maybe not use a record label and just make my own record label. And that way I felt like I wouldn't be owing, you know, I mean, my thing with music is it's an art, but it's also a business to me. And I've been lucky enough to make it a successful business for myself for quite some time. I think just because I've looked at it that way. I've always tried to look at the bottom dollar and how much money, you know, making the most money I can with cutting out as many middlemen as possible. So, and I've always admired people like, you might see his record back here on the wall, Link Ray, the Rumble. And he's actually back in the 50s, if you can believe it. Link Ray was ahead of all these independent cats. He was actually selling his records out of the back of the trunk of his car in the 1950s. So, you know, I'm into all that kind of stuff and that do-it-yourself vibe. So I did that for that record, and I've kept on doing it for the other ones. And you know, when I put together Full Bloom Records, I intended it to be, you know, maybe eventually put some more artists on it, but, you know, it's in its infancy. That was way down the line. But in the last couple of you know, since the COVID thing and a lot more of my success with this album and the Friday Night Gamble, I've had a lot of artists come to me and ask me to help them with their albums or produce albums. So I've got a couple of those on the table for 2021 into 2022, and just kind of slowly working maybe some extra folks into the label, which has also become kind of a film label too. Full Bloom Records also kind of doubles as I do a lot of films and short films, so it kind of doubles as a film production and making records too. But the idea of Full Bloom actually comes from my great-grandfather, Lou Ash, who came over here. He was an immigrant, came here from Germany and started a tobacco industry called Full Bloom Tobacco. And he moved came to New York and moved from there to Statesville and started this industry, this tobacco industry that back in the 30s, you know, rivaled like R.J. Reynolds, which, you know, that's a huge tobacco manufacturing place over here in the United States. So I just, you know, my granddad with that do-it-yourself, great-grandfather with that do-it-yourself mentality, it just made perfect sense to carry on that Full Bloom name into Full Bloom Records. And the logo for the record company is actually an updated version of his old logo that he put on the tobacco. So, yeah, used for his tobacco stand.
So, basically, it comes with history. It really does. Something to respect.
It does.
Absolutely do respect that.
I'm big on meaning, you know, and stuff like that. I like stuff that has meaning.
I get it. I understand that. I really, really do. Now, tell me about your mum. She was the person that really switched you onto music in the first place, wasn't she?
Yeah. I mean, I've been listening. I mean, I've been into music since I can could probably talk. My mom was the first person that really got me into music. She was big into Motown, and she had all those records, and she turned me on to a lot of music. But the real education in music came much later, when I was about 12 years old, 11 or 12. My uncle turned me on to all the Rolling Stones. Jimi Hendrix, he was a huge Jimi Hendrix fanatic, so I got a big dose of that. But through that kind of stuff, I started just like everyone else finding out about blues music. And the first thing that I really heard that was really that was coming from the well of blues was Lightning Hopkins and Muddy Waters up at his house. And so through him, that was back in the 80s, and on TV at that time, you could easily turn the channel to channel some public access channel or PBS, and then all of a sudden Albert King would be on, and I'd be like, well, who's that? My uncle would be like, check this out, this is Albert King, and then through that it piqued my curiosity about the music. So I found out that the public library in my hometown had these records of all these old blues musicians and bluegrass musicians and country musicians, and I mean anything from Hank Williams to Robert Nighthawk to, you name it. And so you could go check out all this stuff, which nowadays sounds like that's no big deal, but this was back in the the 80s and late 80s, early 90s, and trying to find obscure recordings was, about the most obscure you could find might be something from the 60s or 70s by B.B. King, or something like that. So it was just a gold mine of opportunity back then.
Did you ever notice that B.B. King couldn't sing and play at the same time?
I did. I was very aware of that. From a young age, I would watch guitar players and would notice that some of them, a lot of them, well, not a lot of them that I saw did that. It was, and I actually saw B.B. King when I was about 12 years old in Florida. We read in the paper, me and my dad read in the paper that he was going to be at this big blues festival, and Coco Taylor was on the bill, and Buddy Guy. And then out of left field, which, no disrespect, I know he's a fantastic guitar player, but I have no idea how he made it to the bill. They had Eric Johnson.
Okay. Now,
pretty bizarre. Now, the cool thing about that is, about 15 years later, I got to be on the bill with Coco Taylor on the same bill.
Which is
good.
Got to meet her. She was incredibly nice. It was right before she passed away, about a year before she passed away.
Oh, okay. And now I want to talk to you about Muddy Waters. I want to talk to you about his lead guitarist and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know which is worse, really. Tell me a little bit about which is worse.
What, Muddy Waters or his guitar player?
No, you. Well, yeah, actually, but believe me, we're going to cover that road very, very shortly. But how did you? How did you come to the lyrics?
One of my guitars is probably going to break now. No, which is worse? The song "Which Is Worse."
Yes.
Yeah, that one is kind of a personal song for me, and I'm not going to say what it's about, but I tell you, the funny thing was, and I don't have many songs that are personal songs really, but that one is just it's just a real personal topic, I guess, that I probably wouldn't share with the outside world. But I tell you, the funny thing about that was the music video for it. At the time, I was making some music videos with a guy named Michael Spears, and I just asked him one day. I said, "Hey man," I said, "can you find us a pawn shop?" And sure enough, by the end of the afternoon, he called me back and said, "Hey man, I got a pawn shop." And we just had so much fun because the people that ran this pawn shop had really no idea what we were going to do or anything, but they ended up being in the music video. Like the little kid you see in it is their kid. The guy that comes to the counter with the dog is actually the owner of the pawn shop. So that was a fun video to make, a lot of fun, and yeah, which is worse.
Now, everybody, as soon as an artist says, I'm not going to talk about it, it's a bit personal, get your mind out of the gutter straight away.
I know there's probably some guy out there too. It's like, well, if it's so damn personal, why the hell did you write the song? Hey, I can't argue.
You're right here at Galaxy. Which is worse? Honestly, that happens to me all the time. As soon as an artist says, oh, he's covering up or something, you know what I mean? They go straight to the gutter. And you think I'm an imbecile. Gosh, dear. My friend, I want to talk to you about your website. Have you got merch and stuff like that? Because believe me, people have been asking. I've been getting the information that they want to know if they can buy merch on your website. Go and get your music and download it from there and stuff like that. So we'll cover that.
Yeah.
This COVID virus thing is rather surreal.
What have you done to it?
I looked at it. There you go. I presume right now you're not doing a lot of shows as far as doing live stuff?
Well, I haven't been. I've got a show coming up May 1st, and that's the only thing on the books. But I'm starting to book some shows, but I'm not eager to go out and just stack show upon show. Really, I love playing out live. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing to replace that, and I love doing that. But I'm more on the side of like I'm really happy recording music and being in the studio and working on films and doing the gamble and so I'm just kind of wallowing in that for a while. I got so used to doing that for a year, and it's kind of always been my dream to do that. I just never really could pull myself away from going up and down the road and doing that and doing shows. But now that I've finally done it, it's kind of I'm kind of there, So if I do shows, they really have to be special, I guess, nowadays, and they have to be an event. I'm not just going to go out and play at some brewery just to play. So.
Believe me, I get you. I do. Let's go back to the desk. Believe me, I've got something interesting to ask.
Hi, Tim.
Yeah, I see Tim Steinruck is online. Nice to have you on board. Tim Steinruck is the mastermind and the lead singer of a band coming out of Canada called The Mighty One. Brilliant band. Brilliant band.
You two should hook up.
Far out.
Well, maybe they should actually. Yeah, believe me. We introduced them to some friends of ours over in Norway. One New Year's Eve, we were talking between this band called Viking Queen and The Mighty One, and we were getting a bit drunk, and I put a challenge to them. Do you remember the Charleston? The song, not the dance.
Tim knows the song.
Yeah.
Well, I challenged them to come up with that as part of their riff or their hook in a song.
Well, it's pretty hard.
That's right. That's right. You're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. Chris, I got to agree, she does have a very, very nice necklace. It's very, very becoming today, Barbara.
Oh, thank you, Grant, and thank you, Chris.
You're melting over there. You're starting to... There's a river coming off you.
Yes.
There really is. Tim Steinruck, nice to have you on board, brother man. It really, really is. I haven't seen you for, well, a little while now.
No, it's 32 degrees.
32 degrees. It really is. It's hot. If you're in America, 94.6 degrees Fahrenheit inside the office here. Believe me, I advocate for getting some ladies in there and fanning us down. We used to have a young lady that did that, but the wife made her go missing for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why. My friend, I want to talk to you about a website. Have you got a website where our fans can download your music and connect to new music? Also, can they buy merch on your website?
Of course, yeah. It's mattwalshmusic.net. And yeah, I mean, they can get all my albums. I've got 7 albums to date, and they can also get T-shirts, stickers, buttons, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Very, very cool, and believe me.
And also you can watch every episode of the Friday Night Gamble on there too.
That's cool.
Past episodes. Yep.
That's cool. Believe me, I've been getting educated. I really have. When I get a bit of time, I go and have a look at the Friday Night Gamble myself. Now, what brought this around? How did you come to putting this show together?
Well, you know, I mean, obviously it started during the shutdowns with COVID. You know, it seemed like every musician was going and doing these live stream concerts from their living room. You know, I'm sure I don't have to tell you that. And I'm stubborn when it comes to, you know, I just hate doing what everybody else is doing. So I immediately withdrew and just kind of put my guitar down and walked away from music for a little bit and used the opportunity of not playing to focus more on filmmaking. So I made 2 documentaries. One is about a guy named Buddy Hardwood, and it's called Werewolf King. And then I made another one about a guy named Cowboy called Mama Raised in Cowboy. And you can watch these both on mattwalshmusic.net, or you can find them on YouTube. Werewolf King or Mama Raised in Cowboy are the names. So I did those, and it was just refreshing to tap into something different. You know, I thought when I was 16 years old that I would go to like UCLA film school and become a director. You know, but so I've always been into filmmaking, and it gave me a chance to get away from what everyone else was doing and kind of do something just totally out of left field and different. And so through that, I mean, I won't lie to you. When the shutdown occurred and everything, I thought to myself, what am I going to do? Just like every other musician. You know, music was my identity. But around that time, someone told me, they said, you know, Matt, when it all gets down to it, it said, you know, and I don't know who this person was, they said, you're just an entertainer. And I thought to myself, wow, you know, it kind of made me reflect almost on my whole life. Up until the time I was, you know, back to the time when I was a kid, when I was like 6 or 7 years old, and singing into a vacuum cleaner hose, acting like I was one of the guys on Sha Na Na, you know, singing in front of my family. So I've been doing it for a while. But anyway, I just got this idea that it would be really cool to have a variety show. I thought, man, the variety show thing has been gone for so long, and it was such a cool thing. It would be cool to bring that back and run the live stream, run it as a live stream, but not like a just, hey, some guys in their living room and their, you know, house clothes or whatever. I wanted to make it like a real show, you know, from start to finish. It starts on time, it ends on time, and, you know, obviously it has a set and good lighting and a background. So I really wanted to treat it like a real television show, and that's how we did it from day one. And the other part of it is that I wanted to make sure to include original musicians and basically put the spotlight on original musicians in North Carolina mainly, but we've had some from, you know, surrounding states and whatnot. So I mean, it's not like we're just gonna cap them off at North Carolina if there's great music from, you know, Virginia or something that wants to come on the show. And you know, I just wanted it to be comedy. I wanted it to be music, and I wanted to also feel like, obviously, maybe this was kind of spawned from the times that the Friday Night Gamble came up in, but I wanted it to feel like that the audience could feel like that they were there with the folks on the show. Like if if you were some lonely cat at home and you lived by yourself, you could go to the refrigerator and get your favorite beverage or do whatever you do and sit there and laugh and just have a good time, and feel like, you were part of, like this was happening in your living room, basically. And it just grew, it just kept getting better and better every week until where it is now, where it's like, I'm always astonished at, how many people, when I ask people to come on the show, or I see a new musician that's come to my attention, and I go, I'd like to get them on the Gamble. As soon as I, contact them, it seems like most of them are like, hey, I'm so glad I watch the show every week, or I'll run into people and they're like, man, I watch the show every week, and it blows my mind, because in my mind, I'm like, do folks watch this, or that's how it was early on, but, now it's like we get, an average of probably 1,000 plus viewers throughout the week, throughout the weekend, from the time from probably Friday to Sunday. So it's just a fun thing, and it's so much fun that I think that's what even though live music has started back, I think this is my Friday night thing. It's what I'll do regardless.
Well, Matt, I got to let you know that you got a few fans down under here in New Zealand watching your show as well. So
Far out.
It goes global. It really does. The description.
I don't mind.
The description of the guy going to the fridge to get a beverage. Yeah, believe me, I had one of those visions. Literally, rather large guy in his armchair, beverage in one hand, popcorn in the other. Al Bundy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah, believe me, total.
And when he's not watching us, he's just like watching the news, screaming at the TV.
Yeah. Hoping Trump will come back. Oh my God! Now I got to let you know, we were talking a little bit about moonshine earlier on, and a young lady coming out of North Carolina. She's a 10-time Josie Award winner, and I got to be honest with you, love Michelle Lee, and she did something for a guy called Popcorn Sutton. Well, actually, she did something for his wife, and did a little song for that, commissioned by the wife, but she wasn't happy with it. Did a completely brand new song. All the while we were talking about a bit of moonshine. Now, she sent me this, literally. She even wrote on the back of it, she graffitied the hell out of it, literally.
Oh, wow.
Even...
Give her my address, man.
Yeah, believe me. But she sent me a bit of straight out of the Appalachians. You know what I mean?
Hey, listen, when I was like 18 or 19, I went to college like a moron. But anyway, I went to college for about 6 weeks. I had this. See, back when I graduated, they made you feel like if you didn't go to college, you were an absolute failure. So I picked art school. And it only took me 6 months to figure out that I was not an artiste. But anyway, here's the point of the story. This cat I met up there named Wingnut. And this guy, Wingnut, he lived way back in the woods, okay? And he had a cabin way back in the woods. And so I became buddies with this guy. Well, this guy's uncle was like good friends with Popcorn Sutton. So I got access to a lot of the early Popcorn, the real deal, I guess is what I'm saying. I got to experience the real deal Popcorn Sutton moonshine. And man, it still to this day is the best. The best moonshine I ever had. Very, very cool. Do you watch a TV program called Moonshiners? You know what? I played for the Moonshiners once up in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Okay. Well,
yeah, both those guys were there. I was trying to get them to play my CD on their show, but no dice.
Okay. Well, believe me, we know actually a couple of actors that are on that show quite well. Actually, we really do, and interviewed a couple of them. But believe me. I don't know, are you familiar with a place called Newport, just out of Nashville?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, I stayed there for about maybe 9 months, I've got to be honest with you.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I have actually been to Nashville. In fact, I've been to the Grand Ole Opry. I've got my $50. I really don't. But as you know, basically it's a radio show as well as entertainment. You know what I mean?
Right.
So believe me, I've been there. But I stayed with this family. Guys used to disappear strange hours of the night and come back in the morning with containers full with jars. You know what I mean? A little amazing.
His name, he wasn't on one of those serial killer shows later on in life, was he?
You never know.
You didn't see him on one of those, did you?
You never know, actually. I've never seen them since. They might be in Joliet or somewhere like that. You just never know.
Yeah, I was going to say, you might start watching some Netflix documentaries. You might see him on there. You never know.
I'll keep an eye out, believe me. The first 48, I watch that all the time, believe me. So you never know. But let's get back to this. Now, I have this literally sitting on a shelf behind me. In fact, she sent me a nip glass.
Oh, wow.
A nip glass as well to go with it, right?
Just trying to make sure you were, without. Yeah, gotcha.
Well, the thing is this, my friend. I says to her when I received it, we'll have a drink together, doing a Skype thing, but only on a special occasion. I'm thinking New Year's Eve. And then she wins the 10th JC Award. I thought, well, this is a damn good occasion. Why not?
Right.
You know what I mean? So we're having a chat and she goes, I'll just get my husband to go and get me my jar out of the freezer. And I said, out of the freezer? Why out of the freezer? She goes, oh, it's got to be cold. And by this stage I've already poured a nip glass and going, pardon? It's got to be cold. I went, well, this is off the shelf. She goes, oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Buckle up.
well, I'm looking at this and I'm looking at her and going, what have I done wrong? She goes, it's got to be cold. And I went, okay. And she goes, just sip it. Well, there's a problem with that, Matt, and I've got to be honest with you. You see, I'm a New Zealander. I'm a Kiwi. If it's in the shot glass, there ain't no bloody sipping going on.
Nah, man. You can't do that.
Oh, I did that, all right.
You can't go out like that.
Oh, I did that. In fact, they woke me up a day later.
True. It's a true story.
They did. Apparently I went so red I got tore up from the floor up, brother man. I'm not kidding you. This thing just absolutely laid me out and she's sitting there with this jar of stuff just swinging it back like it's juice. And I'm looking, wow.
And then
You need
he
to
did it
take
again on New
the
Year's
Ricky
Eve.
Dickerman
Don't know how
20
to
step
get through a
alcohol
show.
course. He'll get you practiced up.
I like that idea. In fact, you're going to have to put me in touch with Ricky Dickerman, and I will be gladly taking part of that. I hope it comes in a DVD kind of deal.
I think it does. I think
Nice.
2 DVDs.
Nice.
Yep.
He's not a vegan, is he?
No, Lord no. No, Lord no. I think he eats raw steaks.
Very, very cool. Yeah, you haven't tried a vegan sausage yourself?
I haven't, but hey, I'm open. There's a burger place in Statesville, my hometown, has a fantastic black bean burger that I get sometimes.
Okay, well, don't feel strange here because I ask everybody about it. Simply because I want to know, is the vegan sausage made of real vegans?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I've never had it.
Yeah, it's like Johnson & Johnson baby oil. Is it made of real babies?
I don't know, but I bathed my dog with it.
Yeah, puts a new meaning.
Does that count?
Yeah, well, kind of puts a new meaning to Girl Guide biscuits now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does. Oh, well, here's one for you. I'm sure you might be able to ask around. Literally, it's two vegans at the pub, right? They're having a few on a Friday night, and before you know it, you see them out in the car park having a bit of a knuckle up. Is it still called a beef?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's called a beef. It's called a where's the beef?
So
It's called where's a beef? Where is the beef?
where is the beef? Yeah, but
You remember that, right?
Exactly. If you get slapped across the face, is it a chop?
And see, it makes sense too, because they're like, where's the beef?
Yeah.
You got these two vegans out here fighting. Where's the beef?
Yeah.
Where's the beef?
Hitting
This
you.
isn't a fight.
Hitting each other in 5 paces with celery sticks.
Right, there you go. Exactly.
Throwing tomatoes
Exactly.
at
There you
each
go.
other.
Well, it could be sugar cane. It could be
Oh, I
sugar
love
cane,
the
you know,
tomato
something
one,
sweetener.
too.
Now,
Here comes the vegan hate mail.
believe me, I would love it. I really, really would. All one of you are out there that it takes offence of this, please send me mail. Or a vegan sausage, whichever comes first. I don't mind. I'll pay the duty on that. Now, I got to be honest with you, Matt. Your second most requested song here at Galaxy is Sugar. Tell me about
Really?
this. It really is. It's moving like crazy. 1,731 requests since we've started playing it.
That's funny, man. That to me was like one of the my least favorite songs on the album. I like all the songs on the album, or I want to put them on there. But of them all, I mean, the one that kind of I felt like was, if there was any that was a throwaway, I thought it was probably that one, you know. But it does not surprise me because everyone likes that song. It's funny how that works, you know. The song sometimes that you think that is gonna be the least, you know, the least powerful one on the album sometimes becomes everybody's favorite song. But that's a you know, that song is it's influenced heavily by the old, you know, kind of Steve Cropper sound, Stax record, that kind of stuff. But I wanted to do something. I wanted to kind of bring that up to date, you know, and almost do that. You know, that music back then, you could, in my opinion, you could call it pop music because, you know, it was popular. You know, that sound a lot different than what pop music sounds like today. But I wanted to make it a pop song. I wanted to do it so it could have that kind of Stax Memphis soul kind of sound, but also retain a new quality to it. I don't, you know, I don't really believe in, or me personally, if I record something, I don't want to just recycle something that's already been done. And so I always want to do something to update it. And I had a lap steel that I put in a real weird tuning, and it just happened to work for the chorus. And I had a Roland Space Echo. I found like the only one that Brian Setzer didn't buy, and and refurbished it. And so me and my engineer Alan Laws, we just took that thing and just kind of found the craziest whacked out outer space sound that we could find on it, and hooked the lap steel up to it, and did that kind of dreamy lap steel thing that you hear happening in the chorus, and it kind of made the song, to me, it felt like it was kind of timeless and had more of a current sound to it. But the song lyrically was influenced by an old song that I used to hear as a kid by the Canadian band the Guess Who. Remember those cats? and at the time I didn't intend for the song the lyrics to be, you know, it just happened this way. But it was a lot of it was based on the song No Sugar Tonight, My Coffee. What was it? I think it's called the new something taking over. I can't remember something. It was one of those in parentheses songs, you know. But that song would come on when I was a kid, you know, when I was in middle school and stuff, and listening to radio, and I would hear that song by the Guess Who, and a lot of the things that they were talking about in the song, you know, I didn't really understand as a teenager. I had an idea what they were talking about, but they were real appealing to me. So I thought about that song and kind of wrote that song, I guess, from my 16-year-old or 15-year-old point of view. So I kind of put myself back in time, and the protagonist of the song, I guess if that's what you want to call it, is basically writing from, you know, experiencing things for, like, you know, the first time is 17, 16, you know, coming of age kind of thing. So I just kind of want, you know, like I said, it goes back to meaning. You know, I like things to have meaning. So all that just kind of came into one big song, you know, just kind of raveled up into that song.
Well, I got to tell you, Matt, believe me, 1,731 requests since we've been playing it. And it's not often that I get through a breakfast show without at least playing a Matt Walsh song, I've got to be honest with you. Here at Galaxy
Thank you.
is Matt Walsh Live, coming out of North Carolina and Sugar. How you feeling, brother man? You don't need a stiff drink yet?
I am good. I'm good. I'm sitting up here drinking coffee. This is like my 30th coffee today, probably.
Believe me, I'm not allowed to drink on the job either. Not that the Hammond brothers would tell you that.
Yes, I know. You drink
That
moonshine.
you know the stingers that you did for us.
Yeah.
The Hammond brothers did a couple as well. In fact, they did one where they mentioned that I drank moonshine on air. We play the hell out of it. We do.
Yeah. There you go.
Absolutely. I got to thank you for those stingers too, by the way.
Hey, my pleasure, man. My pleasure.
We need more.
Yeah, we always need more. We really, really do. By the way, are you familiar with the Galaxy artist page that we have on Facebook?
I am familiar with it.
Nice. If you've got anything, if it comes down to you've got a date with the toilet roll, put it on there. You know what I mean? There is so many people, literally, that go through that page.
And the
There's
Friday
artists,
night
there's
gamble.
promoters,
Friday night
there's
gamble.
agents, there's all sorts of things that go through there.
Yeah.
Please, please,
Noted.
please use it, promote yourself, promote the hell out of
I
yourself.
definitely will. I'm glad I know that now. Yeah, for sure.
And we won't charge you a cent, honest. We really. Somebody said to me the other day, actually, don't you like money? Yeah, we love money. We really, really do. But we don't.
Yeah.
We don't like taking it from artists.
Yeah.
You know, we don't like taking it from independent, struggling artists, especially in times like this. I'd rather take it from a business. All right. I'd rather take it from a supporter, somebody who wants to spend money and get value for that. We're not going to cripple an artist. He was astonished, literally. Apparently you've got the cutest dog.
Showbud, yes. Yeah, old Showbud. Yeah,
Showbud.
he's like an instant sensation, man. He's more of a star than I could ever be, probably.
Okay, because Chris is apparently letting me in a little inside of Matt Walsh. How do you know Chris?
Is that Chris?
Rollhack.
Oh yeah, she's a DJ in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Okay.
On WQFS.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I actually had it down as a guy. Gosh! Okay,
Hey.
I understand.
We're all out here in the old virtual world.
Nice to have you on board, Chris. Yeah, and nice, thank you for giving her station a plug.
Yeah, that's a fantastic station. Guilford College.
Let's go back to the desk. Yeah, all right, it was tight, all right. Yeah, believe me, I was getting so involved with the conversation with Matt, I forgot time was running out. My production team over here waving frantically at me, look at the time, look at the... Yeah, I'm sure you understand, Matt, what it's like. My pleasure, Chris. Thanks, y'all. Right back at you. And thank you for joining us here at Galaxy. Maybe we can talk in the future. You never know. You never know. Now, Matt, what initially made you want to get involved in music? What really was it? I mean, I know your mum got you in there. I know your uncle gave you all sorts of records and everything like that. But what was the one thing that you said to yourself, this is a bit of me? Now, the reason why I'm asking you this is way back in the day, and I've got to be honest with you, I was a little fella myself, won a radio competition to go and see a band live on stage that my mother took me to. Now, this was in Wellington. I'm a little country boy from the west coast of the South Island in Westwood, so I go to Wellington with my mother and saw a guy called Gary Glitter. Now, absolutely changed my life. I turned around and says, maybe I can't be that, that maybe I can be involved in the music industry one way and or another. What was it for you?
My mom, again, she took me when I was 9 years old. We went and saw Prince, and it was during his Purple Rain tour.
Nice.
And you know, I mean, like I said, I've been, you know, performing, I guess, as a kid since I was, you know, probably 5, 4, whatever, you know. And so when I saw Prince, you know, I was really big into Prince when that came out and everything, and that album. But when I saw him live, that just, you know, I don't know how I knew it or how I, you know, I just knew that that's what I would end up becoming as a musician, and I knew that's what I would do, you know. And it's funny because I had periods of my life where I dropped, you know, I didn't really, it's not like I dropped that, but I just, like I said, I got involved in the film and art and other things, and so it was always kind of in my mind or on the back burner. But once I really started playing music very seriously again was after my uncle passed away when I was about 18 or 19 years old, and I got really, really serious about playing guitar, and really just the only reason, I don't know why I got serious about playing guitar then. It had something to do with him passing away, I guess. But yeah, at the time, I was just kind of, you know, I really didn't know what to do with my life or what I was gonna do. I knew that I wasn't college material. I knew I wasn't like factory material. In fact, speaking of Showbud, you might be able to hear him barking in the background. But anyway, I met a guy, and he that lived in my town, and I met him through a mutual friend, and he also played old school blues music, and that, you know, finding someone else that was a kindred spirit that played, especially back in those days, was kind of unheard of in a small little town in North Carolina. So when we met and everything, I thought we were just getting together to play, you know, to jam. And I was a little older and kind of thought, well, you know, I had no idea about how to go out and play live music. And after he heard me play, he said, well, why aren't you out playing? You know, why aren't you out playing live? Don't you play live? And I said, nah, you know, I just play in my living room. And about a week later, I was on a radio show in Greensboro with him. And then I just started playing gigs, you know, and so, I mean, literally, I learned on stage. I mean, I really did. I just cut my teeth. It was just literally like being thrown out from behind a curtain onto a stage, and they said, here, kid, do some stuff. and I mean, really, I mean, I started out playing old school blues, you know, 40s and 50s blues with an acoustic guitar up against a Shure microphone, you know, with an acoustic guitar, and the first couple of years doing it, I mean, I would play in these horrible places, you know, and people would scream at you, or just turn the jukebox on, and it'd come on real loud, and you have to get up off the stage and go tell the bar owner, like, hey man, can you turn the jukebox off? But so much has changed since then. I mean, I don't play, I stopped, I'm not really a blues musician per se. That's part of my makeup. When I started out, I played nothing but strictly old blues, and it was really hard to get people to understand that kind of music in a live setting. You know, it was kind of like you were kind of already running into a brick wall, just going into the place with that intention. But that's still part of my makeup, like I said, and a lot of other music that obviously I listened to as a kid, but yeah, so it's I didn't just intentionally set out to become a musician as a trade, I guess I should say. But hey, whatever I thought as a kid at 9 years old came to fruition, you know.
You know, Matt, I've got to be honest with you, I am so glad that you did follow that and let it come to fruition. Now, I want to talk to you...
Me too, because I'd probably be working at like Walmart or something.
Yeah, believe me, I've seen some people that go and shop there. That can be traumatic in its own right. Believe me, and some of the stuff they wear. Now, Matt, I want to talk to you about Bob Marjolin and some of the legends that you've actually worked with. Did you actually meet Howlin' Wolf himself?
No. I'm not that old. No, Howlin' Wolf passed. I think he died in like the early '70s, so I wasn't even born yet. But I did get to meet and play with his guitar player Hubert Sumlin on several occasions, not many occasions, but several occasions, and I also got the opportunity to hang out with him for long periods of time on those occasions, like driving in a car to gigs and hanging out at his hotel room and whatnot. And like you said, that was all through Bob Margolin. Around the time my first album came out, which was predominantly a kind of a roots music record, and Bob was really nice around the time. That's kind of around the time that he and I met, and he gave me the opportunity to get the record. Being that I was just kind of a new name, it kind of gave me an opportunity to get the record out a little further than I could on my own with my radio promotion guy that I had and all the stuff I had set up. So he said, would you like to go out with me and do some gigs? And he would let me, intern. I would play bass, or we sometimes would just do the old 2 guitar and drums, old Chicago blues stuff thing that they used to do. And he would let me play a couple songs of my own during the set and sell my album from the bandstand and whatnot. And so that helped me kind of get my name out there when I was real young. And but through that, through playing with him and going and doing shows with him, there would be the times that he would get with the old guys, in Muddy Waters band, and he would have billings with them, like Pond Top Perkins and Willie Big Eye Smith. I had the opportunity to hang out with Willie for 2 days in Memphis, Tennessee, and that was a lot of fun. And the cool thing about these guys is that, obviously, I just was just along for the ride, but these guys had one thing in common, all of them, is they were very accessible, and they were very down to earth. Hey, when it gets down to it, I'm just a country boy. That's kind of how I was raised, and the legends that I looked up to, these folks that I was meeting and getting an opportunity to interact with, at the end of the day, I figured out they were just old country boys too, and they were very accessible, very kind, and it just was like hanging out, with a friend. You kind of almost forgot, in a way, if it's possible, you forgot these people were who they were, because they were just so pleasant and kind, and especially Hubert Sumlin. I mean, like, the first time I met him, I'd been, Hubert Sumlin was one of my favorite guitar players from when I was 12 or 13 years old, and I found my first Howlin' Wolf record at the public library. I saw this little skinny guy on the back beside Howlin' Wolf with a funny looking Italian guitar, and it was Hubert Sumlin, and then listening to those old records, all of the wild stuff that he did that was so innovative with guitar. And so I met this guy, he was like, huge, it's like really, I felt like that small, one of my heroes. And I just remember when I was introduced to him, he had a Stratocaster, like a Sunburst Stratocaster. And I just thought, oh, well, that'll be good. That's something to talk about, make conversation about. And so when he got introduced and everything, I said, oh, man, I like your Stratocaster, man. I like that kind of sunburst on, tobacco burst kind of look on it. He said, hey, man, he said, want to play it? So that was Hubert Sumlin, and I'll never forget, too, that night, that was the first night I got to play with him. And I was playing a Bob's Supro pocket bass, which is, it's a kind of a short scale bass that looks more like a guitar than a bass. And so from across the stage, it could, if you're not hip to it, you might think it's a guitar. And I'll never forget, Hubert Sumlin was doing Sitting on Top of the World, and he looked over at me for a guitar solo. And I got a bass. So I was like, man, what do I do? I can't do a bass solo. That's going to be awful. That's totally not going to work. So I just hopped on the mic and just sang the next verse of the song, and he was just like, yeah, yeah.
I love that.
Super. And it's, yeah, I mean, it was completely, my mind almost exploded on stage right there because, you know, I'm in this weird predicament here. Like, what do I do? And whatever I did, hey, my hero from across the stage is going, yeah, yeah, man. You know, it's just like, how does this happen, man? You know, so that kind of stuff, though. I mean, I've had some fantastic opportunities and have been blessed to play with some fantastic musicians, Bob being one of them. But but those opportunities, especially when I got to play with Pine Top, which was one time, and you know, I mean, you can listen to these records all your life. You can play this music on bandstands all your life, but playing with these guys that, you know, were so, you know, such a part of what it is in the first place, you know, and a guy like Hubert that wrote the book on guitar playing, blues guitar playing to a degree, it's just a feeling that you can't reproduce, or you can't inject that into something. You just got to be there, you know, and especially Pine Top. I remember, you know, just looking across the stage at one point and connecting eyes with him. It was like, you know, man, you're in the thick of it, man. It doesn't get any, I mean, for lack of a better way, just a cliche way of saying it, it doesn't get any realer than that. And it was just so, and those guys will never be replicated. They were produced by you know, just like other periods of and genres of music, country music, they were something that will never happen again. You know, they were shaped by their environment or the times and the music they heard and the people that they interacted with. So just a huge piece of history, something I'm very, very thankful that I got to do.
I'm loving that. Now, I got to let you know, Matt, and I touched on this earlier on, that it doesn't seem to be a working day, a breakfast show that I do here without playing at least one Matt Walsh song.
I love it.
Yep, believe me. And I think, really, this has got a big factor to do with it.
This is Matt Walsh. Hear my song Don't Shut My Party Down on Galaxy 107 FM.
You know, Matt, believe me, this is your #1 most requested song here at Galaxy. It really, really is. And we're
That's what I hear, yeah.
way up over the 3000s, if you know what I mean. 35 and 19. 3,519 requests since we've been playing it.
Sheesh.
What makes this the secret to your success?
Well, I can't say over there what it is, but over here I think it's just, you know, and it's not that it was even written during the shutdown or anything like that. And in fact, the song was written, you know, at least a year and a half before that even happened. But I think it's just, I think it's a response to what happened, you know, in the last year, that people, you know, it's a song that kind of, it says, hey, screw whatever may come, we're still doing it. You know, I think it brings a little bit of hope to folks, or I think it did, you know, back when it was released, because it came out last September. So you know, we were still pretty in the thick of the whole shutdown mess, and I think it helped people kind of, you know, it just kind of went hand in hand. Obviously, I think people applied it to that, even though the song's not about the shutdown or anything like that. The song actually, I think the song is actually about my fear of death. It's the song definitely, the way it came about is, I've gotten better about it. My old man syndrome is starting to kick up, you know, so I go to bed now at like 10:30 or 10, and but I had this bad habit of trying to just, not that I like to stay up late, but I wouldn't go to bed, you know, and I'd fall asleep in my chair. And Kelly, my girlfriend, we used to laugh about it a lot, one night she said, you're just not going to let anybody shut your party down, are you? And, you know, I didn't think much about it until I got up and went to bed. I did get up and go to bed after she said that because she caught me snoozing in the chair. Probably looked over and I was asleep. But as soon as I got up and went to the bedroom, it just hit me. You know, I was like, man, don't shut my party down. And I just sat down and on the end of the bed before I went to sleep and wrote that song within like 5 minutes.
Wow.
Well,
And you know, when I and it's not that I don't write songs. Most songs I do write end up being like that. You know, they end up, I write them in like no more than 10 minutes. I've got pretty much the song. But the only difference being is that usually I go back to those songs and you edit them. You know, you take out words that don't, you know, that are too, you get sometimes, I mean, I think everybody that writes songs can probably attest to this, that when you initially write them, you find yourself maybe being a little wordy here and there, so you have to take stuff out and make it work. But honestly, Shut My Party Down was one of the only songs I think that I've ever recorded that I did not change a thing. The way I wrote it was the way it stayed, and I did not have to change a thing. It just came out perfect like that. So, or perfect enough that people in New Zealand are requesting the hell out of it, which I'm super thankful for.
well, it's not only in New Zealand, believe me, we are a global station. We're heard in every country in the world. It has been requested literally from every country that hooks into us here at Galaxy. Here, live, is Matt Walsh and Don't Shut My Party Down. How you feeling, Matt? You okay?
Feeling good. Feeling
Nice.
good.
Nice. Believe me. I got to let you know, are you familiar with Lord of the Rings?
I am familiar with Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Being a filmmaker yourself, you'd understand that Peter Jackson is actually somebody I went to university with.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Very cool.
I struggle to call him Sir Peter. I really do.
Right.
Believe me, if you've seen any of his earlier stuff, you would struggle to call him Sir anything as well. It really is. But Middle Earth, or what is Hobbiton, the original set of Hobbiton is only about an hour and a half away from where we are right now.
Really?
Love you to come over and play one day or for some time.
Yeah.
Do a tour over here, my friend. We would love that. I
Fantastic.
deliberately haven't spoken about that, given, of course, the time that we're going through right now. It's pretty surreal.
Right.
But
Right.
will you come back again in the future? If you're releasing new stuff, will you release new stuff with us? Will you come back and talk about it? Maybe then we can talk about doing a tour here in Australasia. What do you reckon?
Most definitely. Yeah, for sure. For
Awesome.
sure.
Awesome. That is
And bring
fantastic.
Terry.
I'm a
Bob
fan.
here.
Yeah, and bring Terry and Bob.
Bob will hear. Terry and
Yeah,
Bob.
there you go.
I got to warn you too.
The Three Stooges.
I did say to Bob the next time he sees you, give you a poke in the eye.
Yeah,
He
good.
said,
Oh,
you,
man. Yeah, well, you know, hey, he's done worse.
oh well, next time you see him, give him a warm beer.
There you go.
That's another story.
Just say you've got epilepsy or something. You know what I mean?
There you go. There you go.
I'm going to start a war in North Carolina. We have spoken to so many North Carolinians just lately that we kind of feel
I've seen it. Yeah.
we feel that we actually should be honouring North Carolinians. What do you reckon?
Cheers.
We're a hotbed over here, man. We really are.
Oh.
There are so many great musicians in North Carolina. You know,
Yeah,
you wouldn't,
we're
I mean,
great there.
literally,
You are not
walk out the
wrong.
door, you run into one.
You are not wrong. Let's go back to the desk, but let's wrap this up. Don't go anywhere just yet. We've got a couple of things that we do after this. Okay?
Okay.
You know, from the Friday night gamble all the way through to Tuesday, April the 6th, right here at Galaxy 107 FM, it has been an absolute pleasure to catch up and welcome to the family, Matt Walsh, coming out of North Carolina. Matt, it has been an absolute pleasure. Will you come back again?
Most definitely. I'd love to.
Nice, nice. Believe me, I would love to be able to talk to you about getting you down here, down under in New Zealand, playing in front of New Zealand audiences. That's a whole different conversation altogether, because I'm going to let you know, we here in New Zealand, we're kind of crazy, okay? We really are.
Hey,
Well, he is.
we're crazy here too, you know.
Yeah,
As you
I've
can
seen
see.
Then
some
you
of
get
the
to fit in
shows.
really, really well. Only one thing to say though, if you are going to be coming to New Zealand, bail money. If you're going to hang out with me, yeah, a little bit of that would help. Really would. Matt Walsh, thank you so much for joining us here at Galaxy. We'd love to see you again, and would love to be able to, well, do a competition maybe if you got a spare few CDs or something you want to do a giveaway. And believe me, it's all about keeping Matt Walsh rolling here at Galaxy. Maybe even a T-shirt, you never know. People who watch these, do go and find out who they are today, Hurricane. Yeah, Hurricane Highway. Coming out of Ireland. Ed, love it. Really do. And believe me, before you know it, you've sold at least 3 more koozies. You know what I mean? Believe me, it's an absolute pleasure. Don't go anywhere just yet. We do a couple of more things. But right now, I'll turn you back over to Studio B. You're right here at Galaxy. Come on, Eileen. Dixie's Midnight Runners, right here at Galaxy.